Let's talk some hoops. New York Knicks have this point guard, Harvard.
Harvard grad.
Probably the dumbest guy out of Harvard, right? He's playing in the NBA.
Now, Starkey.
Jeremy Lin, his name is.
Jeremy Lin.
Okay. He's been around the league a couple of years. He's now this overnight sensation. Last 5 games, some phenomenal. 38 points the other night. Your thoughts on what the Knicks are doing with Jeremy Lin right now, point guard?
Well, a couple of things that are going on here, I think. Both Carmelo Anthony and Stoudemire, their two studs, are out of the lineup. And just out of desperation, supposedly this guy was destroying Baron Davis in practice, which I'm not sure how hard that is to do at this stage in Baron's career. But they were in a situation where we're either going to have to guarantee this contract or let him go. So they just said, okay, let's try it. The Knicks weren't playing very well, so for the last 5 games, he's tremendous numbers, and the Knicks are 5-0 without their 2 best players during this stretch. So it's pretty impressive. Their coach, the Knicks coach, Mike D'Antoni, runs a very point guard friendly system, very pick and roll oriented, right, where the point guard gets a lot of decision making, but he's got to make good decisions to make plays, and this kid's done that so far. It amazes me a couple things. I don't want to preoccupy here, Starkey, but a couple of things. Number one, it brings home again. So much of success in team sports for individual players is about being at the right place at the right time in the right situation. We don't even come close to acknowledging that to the extent that we should.
Wally Pip, right? I mean, that's the
there you go.
Case.
There you go.
I want to see what this guy can do when the 2 stars are back in there. He and Stoudemire could get along very well because Nash and Stoudemire did the pick and roll.
Because they'll be doing the pick and roll together.
Carmelo Anthony is like the abyss. The ball gets to him in the black hole. He's very much Iverson-like. It's funny how the 2 of them played pretty well together in Denver. I don't see it working there. The fact is he's been putting up 38 points when 2 stars who like to shoot the ball aren't there. And the Knicks have gone through, he's the 4th point guard to start this year. So they've tried lots of guys, and they haven't worked. To be schooling Baron Davis right now in his career, Baron Davis is coming off a knee injury, hasn't played all year. So, and when Baron gets healthy, is he the point guard again there? Is they're paying him big bucks?
I don't think so. I think he's on his way out. But I mean, where there's lots of caveats that we have to attach to this. I agree with you, Starkey, but it's still a pretty amazing story. I mean, this kid was in the D League this year, and now he's and all of a sudden, I think it's. I'll tell you another interesting aspect of this. I just saw a tweet yesterday from Bernard Hopkins, the boxer from Philadelphia, who said the only reason this is a big deal is because this guy's an Asian American. If black guys do this every day in the NBA, well, that's ridiculous. Black guys don't do this every day. But it's an interesting point how people are perceived in so many things go into how people are perceived. And I think the fact that this guy is an Asian American is a factor in this sort of phenomenon that's going on right now.
It actually is a neat aspect. I don't like Bernard Hopkins and his points, but I think it's an interesting aspect, actually. And it could actually sell tickets because you're in New York City, pretty big Asian market as well.
But I mean, think how differently this kid would be perceived if he was black. It is an interesting thing to think about. I'm not sure that it's that relevant to anything, but
I hadn't even thought about that. I've seen him, and I wasn't even thinking about that as much as I was thinking. He played at Harvard, and the fact is, most Harvard players don't go on in the last 20, 30 years to be big-time stars in the NBA.
Yeah,
that crossed my mind more.
He played on a state championship high school team in California, but was not highly recruited. Did not have, big time. I'm sure he would have gone to Cal Berkeley if they'd offered him. It didn't happen. And here this is happening. He's sleeping on his teammate's couch. It's a neat story. It has a little bit of a Tebow-ish tinge to it, but again, it's 5 games out of the NBA season.
Carmelo's back.
There you go.